Welcome in. And yes, we're in the Premier League. Okay, let's have a look at what the facilities are looking like. So the new stadium has been planned and found. It's going to be 14,242, so slightly higher than the estimate was. Gordon Bartlett Park be finished in 2028, which will be next June. So still got a season to play out in the small capacity stadium, but that's good. The club borrowed a lot of money to build the stadium, so we're pretty broke. Our finances. So we were given £40 million for the transfer budget. It says original budget 11 million, but it was 40, I believe. No, it was 11 million. The wage budget was 470,000. So we've got a lot of wages to play with, but not a lot of transfer budget. But as we normally buy players, well, we normally sign players for free anyway, so shouldn't be too much of a problem, or should it? Well, let's have a look at the transfers leaving first. Not free transfers, release players. So, goodbye to Nathan Ferguson, you injury-bugged person. David Amusu, obviously, goalkeeper, you're gone. Nicholas Narty, his contract expired and he wanted to try something else. So he's gone, although he's still not got a club, so unlucky. Chris Maxwell, he's gone as well. It looks like he's gone into coaching now because he was quite old. At the moment, we're in on 1st of August, so we haven't got into the season yet, but all of our transfer deals look like they are done. So let's have a look at the squad plan and see how we're looking. Goalkeeper. 2 new goalkeepers brought in. First of all, Dominic Grief. So we signed him for £575,000 from Cadiz, where he had a moderately good season with them last year in a league. If we have a look at his information here, he speaks good English, which was always nice to see. He looks like he's got pretty good stats, to be honest. 6'6" and 16 aerial reach and 16 jumping reach. If he gets, nobody is going to out jump him in the penalty area, are they? Player traits: winds up opponents and gets crowd going. Are pretty much the only traits I think a goalkeeper can have, other than avoids using weak foot. So he's actually got a fairly strong weak foot anyway. So he looks pretty good. Pretty delighted to get him for so cheap. 22,000 a week, not too bad. 30 years old as well, not too old. And then we also signed. Now, can I say this? Jan Olszewski, I think that's how you say it. Yeah. He's got avoids using weaker feet trait, which is good because he's got a really weak left foot and a strong right foot. 25 years old, 15k, and happiness-wise, he was happy to be the backup, which is excellent. He cost us £155,000, which is absolutely nothing. He was on the transfer list at Gladbach. He's obviously been there his whole career, loaned out, played in the reserves, that sort of thing. I actually think, if we didn't have the other keeper, I'd be happy to play him and maybe try and develop him. He's got the potential to be pretty decent, but he looks like a good number 2. He's wearing number 1 because, weirdly, Dominic Grief's preferred number was 13, so that's what he got. Right back, we have Andreas Vinham still. I've promised him regular football as well, so there you go. We've brought in Finn Stevens. English, obviously, when you're in the Premier League, it's quite strict that you need 8 English players trained in the nation up until the age of 21, so having some homegrown players was important. So Finn Stevens got his Swansea kit on there, I believe. But he came from Brentford. That's where we signed him from anyway. 3.5 million. He actually played some games for him in the Premier League last year. Didn't do very well, but at least he's this is the right calibre. But yeah, what's that kit then? Is that Brentford? Maybe it's this FC Midtjylland. But yeah, he's come in for right back. He can play left back as well, which is nice little flexibility to have. Looks fairly decent. I like the 16 determination. Always like good determination with my players. Good work rate and teamwork. Runs with ball down right and likes to switch ball to wide area. 2 good traits to have for a fullback. And then we'll move to centre back. So we've still got Liam Morrison and Lloyd Jones. We've signed Federico Pereira. Now, he had a broken leg when we signed him. I knew that. Not a big deal because he should be fit in 11 days to 3 weeks. Now, the season doesn't start for another 2 weeks, so hopefully that should be all right. But he can also play right back, as you saw him in the squad planner at right back. However, he is going to play centre back for us. 6'2", got a pretty good weak foot as well. I don't think he's got a right preference of the right side in the two-man pairing though, so he'll have to play the right side centre back. Really strong tackling and marking, pretty decent in the air. Not that in the Premier League you will get tested with a lot of long balls into the air, so gets forward whenever possible. Probably not a trait you want on a centre back, so not great, but he's got a long flat throw which I won't be using. Doesn't like big matches though. Dreads playing in big matches even. So, I'm not sure what a big match is going to be for us in the Premier League. Probably every match, to be honest. But he's a consistent player, which I always like. And he doesn't have an injury proneness, even though he's just broken his leg. So, that's good. So, he looks like he could be a really solid centre-back for us. I think Liam Morrison is good enough to play at this level as well. And Lloyd Jones, I actually have him trying to get rid of him, to be fair. Got to remember, in the Premier League, we only play 38 games in the league. So you pretty much only play one game a week. If you don't get involved in any cup competitions, you rarely play many midweek games. So you don't need as big a squad. So I don't need 4 centre-backs. I really only need 3. So, but if you get somebody injured, then it is a bit of a stretch. So it's nice to have 4, but Lloyd Jones probably not good enough. We signed Max Dyson. Now, he came for $2.5 million from Shrewsbury. When I was looking at him at Shrewsbury, when my scouts found him, should I say, there was a laundry list of clubs interested in him. Lots of big clubs in the Premier League. So he's obviously clearly not quite good enough yet, but scouts said he could be really good. As you can see, he's got a white star for 5 stars. Now, when you're looking at players to develop, it's important they have really good determination most of the time. Not all the time, most of the time. So to have 16 determination, really good. Hopefully he can improve. He's got really good mental, 16 bravery and 17 teamwork. Really, really good. 17 tackling, obviously, stand out. He's quite quick, 13 and 12. So he will get plenty of minutes this year, to try and develop him. And his negatives here are nothing really to worry about there. Anything he's good as a consistent player. Again, always love consistent players. I don't know if you caught it when I said before what consistent player means. It means they're more likely to play to their stats more often. So if you see in a red where somebody's consistent, as in they're not a consistent player, they'll have great games and they'll have terrible games. Whereas a consistent player will be always kind of baseline 6.8, something like that. Well, that's the hope anyway. Left back, we didn't do anything with it this year. We've got both of these under contract, and I actually think Kevin, although scouts don't think he's good enough for this league, in my experience, this sort of all-round 12-13 kind of fullback, they tend to do all right in the Premier League. So we'll see how he goes. He had a great season in the Championship, so got to give him another go. Defensive midfielder. Here is the mystery signing. Hasma Chowdhury. Even. Can't believe I got him. Love the guy. Loved him for Leicester. As we see here, he left Leicester, went to Watford on loan, went to Bournemouth, then to Leeds, then to Nice. So we signed him from Nice. He only played 4 games for Nice last year. 29 years old now, but he's going to play in that DM role, and I think he'll be terrific there. And he's got some good traits here. Gets forward whenever possible. Plays short, simple passes. I like that. Dictates tempo is good. Moves ball to right foot before dribble attempt. I don't think that really matters. Dives into tackles. Good aggression and dives into tackle is really, really good. However, competitive streak is basically what means they're quite a dirty player. And so with dives into tackles, he could be in trouble with bookings and potentially red cards. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And maybe we're going to have to tell him to do easy tackles or something. Obviously not very good at finishing, but playing as a DM, he's not going to get there. consistent player, and he likes big matches. We love that though. So 19k a week, not too bad, not too bad. And yeah, like I say, 2.4 million. I think that was quite a bit of a bargain. We paid all in. That was he requested to be on the transfer list, so we paid the 2.4 million. Yeah, if we go. So far, I haven't. Everybody we've just bought straight out of the cash. So as you can see, we've nearly spent our budget already. So now in midfield, we have brought in 3 new players for our Mozilla spots because we didn't really have anybody. We did actually sell Neto. I'll go back to the players that we sold after I run through this. So Lewis Daniels, 19-year-old wonder kid. Now we may have bought him for 22 million from Swansea. Now we may have only spent I think it was 2 million up front and the rest on tick. Now I don't like buying players on tick when we're in a club like this with not a lot of finances. However, 22 million, he's already worth 50 to 60 million. He's 19 years old, and as per usual, they've all got minimum release clause. Anybody that's young, 68 million his release clause. So if somebody came in and said, "I'll pay you 68 million," we've made 40 million profit on that. So as we're getting better in the Premier League, well, as hopefully we stay up, but as we go into the Premier League and try and stay in there and gradually get better, challenge for Europe, win the Champions League, blah blah blah. We're probably going to be selling these young players for profit to help with the finances to get better and better and better. So as long as we're not overspending, it's fine. And this guy, I mean, he's going to be playing here in Amazilla, and look at those stats. He looks fantastic. He's got no traits because there's a lot of regions obviously don't normally. He's already had 16 caps for Wales. But yeah, he's going to be playing Mozilla attack. 12 finishing, not brilliant, but like you rarely get Mozillas with great finishing, but you know, he looks really good. Carlos Alcaraz, he was at Southampton, and if you can see here, they bought him for 11.75 million from Racing, and he's played pretty much every season for them when they've been in Championship and Premier League. We bought him for 6.25 because he was on the transfer list, and yeah, he's going to play the Mozilla role, the attacking Mozilla role. He was my original player to play the Mozilla attacking role. Looks like he's got pretty decent stats for, so quite happy with him. Lewis Daniels was the last person we bought basically. I needed another midfielder and he came in. Farini, he's not that great, so he's going to be the rotation. Michael Mascow, another regen. So we bought him from Middlesbrough for 19 million. Now, again, this was on tick because we didn't have 19 million. So I think we put a couple of million up front and then the rest was is paid over the next few years. So, again, he's already worth way more than that. And he doesn't have a release clause, I don't think. Oh, no, he does. His minimum release clause is 39.5 million. So he's literally already at his minimum release clause. So he could he might only last a year with us, to be honest, because it's going to be hard to fend off that. Unless we can sign him to another contract next year. But he's not a consistent player, which is something I don't like. But you know, you can't... it was hard to find somebody that could play this role for me that would come to us that was good enough. And it ended up being this guy. 47k a week, not too bad. But yeah, like I say, he's not got a lot of experience yet, and he likes to round keeper as a trait, which for a defensive player is kind of a weird trait, but dives into tackles, really good trait to have with somebody with high aggression. Like, it won't mean that they'll make fouls. It means that they'll get stuck in and win the ball a lot. So, like I said, I've said before, high aggression does not mean that they will get booked a lot and, you know, they will make a lot of fouls. As it says here, this attribute does not necessarily reflect a player's dirtiness, but their willingness to get stuck in. Might give away more fouls, but they'll win the ball back a lot more. So for your ball winning centre mids, great stat, great trait to have is aggression with dives into tackles. So there's our Mozillas. So it would generally be Alcaraz and Mascal and Daniels rotating those 3 roles, I would have thought. On the right, we stick with Casey Palmer and Caden Clark. And on the left, we've got Angel Gomez. Now, he wanted a new contract, was getting a bit shirty, so I gave him a new contract. Will I regret that? Probably. Because, as we've seen at the end of last year, he's got the red, not red, but orange-red. Not orange, but orange. I don't know what colour that is. Orange-red injury proneness, which means he'll probably miss quite a lot of games through to injury. But we've brought in this guy called, I've got no idea how you say this name, G. Similson Lato, something like that. Really fast winger, decent dribbling, 15 determination is good. Got his resolute personality, which is a really good personality to have for a youngster. Only on 9k a week. So we got him for 1.5 million from Pasco de Varela. So did not spend a lot of money on him. And the good thing about this guy as well, he's got no minimum release clause. So and he's worth 28 to 41 million. So one of our few regens, whichever we want to call them, that didn't have a release clause. Reasonable for no traits. He's not a consistent player, which again something I don't like. Not intelligent, not got good anticipation. He can learn all that as he's really young, but that's not ideal. But yeah, he's probably going to be more the backup behind Gomez to start with, but you know. And then the strikers, we've still got Husni and Burkat to our strikers, but we've also signed a youngster. Kalle Ringberg on 11k a week, Swedish guy, and 1.7 million from Hammarby from the Swedish division. So the scouts picked him out and said he's got really good potential. As you can see, he's not quite there at the moment. If you look at his stats, he is pretty quick and agile, decent composure, really good determination, which I've said before can really help a player develop. Decent technique, not very good passing, finishes is all right. He would have been fantastic in the championship last year, I would say. Will he be any good in the Premier League? I'm not sure. He's worth 9-10 million at the moment. Outspoken, volatile, confrontational, not the ideal kind of media handling there, but runs through the ball. But look at this. Very strong left and right foot. 6'2". So, and he's quite fast at 6'2". He could develop into like a worldie, I think, with both feet and pretty strong. We'll see anyway. Like I say, if we have a look at a coach report for him, I might try. There's a potential I might loan him out this year because he's not going to be up to play in the Premier League, and he does need to play games for his work permit. So, but yeah, if we have just look at the transfers, what business we've done, transfer history, all transfers. So as we can see, Finn Stevens, Graf, Pereira, Oltree, Mascal, and Lewis Daniels. I don't know why not the others on there. So Ledson had 775k release clause, which was activated. Not bothered about that because I didn't want to keep him anyway. So happy to let him go. Valentin Ozumwalfor, he went for 500k. Maybe could have got more for him than that, but was happy just to let him go. This Xavier Loggy, he was loaned out last year. Some youngster, I want to say we signed him for nothing. I hope I didn't pay for him. Yeah, signed him for free out of Chelsea. He's one of those guys that goes to the trials day, I think. But we've got 325k, so I'll take that. Neto, he's gone out on loan for the season. I mean, he's never going to be good enough for the Premier League. And I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. So we loaned him out, and they paid most of the... although, like, he's on such low wages, I knew that it just caused issues for us. If I kept him at the club, like, he'd want a new contract, he'd want to be playing, all that sort of stuff. So I just thought, loan him out, get him rid. And Williams Ahmed is just a youngster. Oh, yeah, I think so. If we go back a season... Yeah, there's... I bought these before I think the season switched over. So Chowdhury, Dyson, Alcaraz, Ringberg, and Laito. I signed these, as you can see, 9th of June they went through. So they count as last year's. Whereas this year, we've just had these. And like I say, Lewis Daniels was the latest one on 26th of July. It's 1st of August. So we're about ready for the Premier League season to start, pretty much. So see how we get on. The goal clearly this year is to survive. 17th will be a fantastic season, really. Hopefully, we don't get sucked in too much, but I think some of the players we've brought in have been pretty good. And like these youngsters, I mean, you hope they're going to be good. We'll see. But, like the midfield ones, they're really good. I think the keeper's decent. It's just going to be a case of how good our defence is. And also, what's handy is that with our schedule is we play Villa, Southampton, Newcastle, Watford, Wolves, Chelsea, Leeds, Fulham. So we don't really play one of the powerhouses until Man City then. So hopefully we can get. It's always bad if you start the season playing like Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, because then you're just going to get battered and your morale gets sucked away. So, although I think Newcastle are a pretty good team actually. If we have a look at the last year's table history, I don't know how you look at it last year's table. Oh yeah, here we go. So last year, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle were 4th, Chelsea, Spurs, West Ham, Everton. So our start isn't too bad. Man United finishing 10th, as we can see. But there we go. What do you think? Do you think we can stay up, or do you think we can do even better than that? Let me know, and I will see you in the next one when we start our Premier League campaign. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.